like to introduce you to our panelists today. First, we have Chris Sonnenberg, who's the executive producer of Tangled, the series. Chris? Next, we have Ben Balistreri, who is the co-executive producer. We have Jace Ricky, who is the head writer and co-producer. We have Alan Goldner, who is the art director. Jeremy Jordan, the voice of Barry. Espinosa, the voice of Pascal. Zachary, Levi, the voice of
As you were.
and Mandy Moore, the voice of Before we start the panel, I'd like to acknowledge this is the first time we've had Jeremy, Eden, Zachary, and Mandy all in one place together.
This is the first time I've met Jeremy and Eden.
That's crazy.
It's the first time I met Eden and Mandy. It's the first time I
Spoiler
met
alert.
Jack, unfortunately, and I have history.
Yeah, go way back, Jeremy.
Zach gets around.
In good ways. I get a lot around in good ways. This is D23. Let's straighten it out. What's going on? Hi, Chris. We're so far.
We just started.
I'd actually like to start off by asking Chris a question. Tangled is one of the most popular films to come out of Disney in the past decade. What was it like to be given the torch to carry on this story?
Well, it was super easy till right now when I got the pressure from this entire group of people. I was a huge fan of the movie to begin with, and knowing that there was such a huge loyal following of fans that were going to be invested in the characters as we went forward, it was a lot of pressure. And some of the big challenges immediately right out of the gate were the things that all of you people were really concerned about, which was like, how do we bring the hair back, and how, are we going to get the cast back together, and is Alan Menken going to be? So those were huge hurdles for myself and the creative team in the very beginning to not only kind of match the expectations, but then to take it beyond. Yeah, it was huge.
Can you talk a little bit more how it came to fruition, and a little bit about how the story fits in between the end of the feature film and the beginning of the Tangled After Hours short?
Well, the first question that I asked myself and the guys, we were all together, was what made sense? What was the story that we wanted to tell that actually made the most sense in bringing the hair back, and where it would actually take place? And so once, Zach had this great line at the end of the movie. Eugene has this great line where it says, after years and years of asking and asking, I finally said yes. You can do that later, but we said, hey, there's a little time there. Maybe, he might be joking, but what if there was some time between the movie and when they actually get married? And that was the kind of the time, and that was the opportunity that we took to say, hey, there's more to these characters' stories, and certainly more to Rapunzel's story, that we can kind of grow both of them as characters and take the time to really grow them, not only out as characters, but give them depth and have a lot of opportunity for adventure and music and fun and action. It seemed like a really important time in people's lives. I have two daughters, 15 and 17, Ariana and Catalina. My daughter Ariana is the namesake of Queen Ariana. Aww. She's here today. And yes, yeah. having 2 daughters at home and an amazing wife at home, being able to talk to them about the experiences that they were going through, we thought that like between 18 and 22, you know, people's lives are really adventurous, really exciting. And, you know, trying to find out what your career is and how to discover who your relationships are and your parents and finding out them. And that all seemed to be a perfect kind of time in these characters' lives to open up and have fun with.
Mandy and Zachary, I'd like to ask you what it was like to step into these roles again and get to play with these characters that are so beloved all over again.
Mandy.
I mean, this was an opportunity we couldn't pass up. I think if we're being perfectly honest, Zach and I both had a little bit of trepidation venturing back into this territory just because...
No.
Initially we're like, where does this story go? How do we find ourselves back in these shoes?
Or lack thereof. I'm super smart.
But we were obviously convinced, and here we are. I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer, especially because I felt like we were really a team in making the decision together. It's like, I wouldn't have done it if Zach didn't want to do it, and perhaps vice versa?
No, I definitely would have done it without you. That's not true. No, essentially what had happened was, is that Chris and the team were hard at work in putting this thing together, but to your credit, to the entire team's credit, and to Disney's credit, you guys really, at least what they told us was, we don't want to do it unless we have you and Mandy. That's probably not true. It would have been a great show. Wouldn't have been as good. But what you guys did was you really included us very early on in the conversation, and you allowed us to weigh in on how we felt about what the story that was being presented and how all that tied together and how that affected your character and my character. And you really listened to us and you collaborated with us on that, and that was very crucial for me, I think also for Mandy, and ultimately, you know, that's kind of shows a lot of respect and thought in that, you know, you guys were kind of the newcomers to the whole situation. We were the only 2 carryovers from the film and the creative team, because Nathan and Byron and everybody else who had directed the film and Vogelman, like, you know, all that team had moved on and, you know, winning Emmys and all those types of things. But ultimately, for us to be able to kind of weigh in and say, hey, these are our thoughts, this is what we love, this is what our concerns were, and you guys heard us and you adapted to that, and now we get to keep being Flynn and Rapunzel.
Yeah, and I think otherwise, we sort of thought, well, that was the beginning and end of our story as, you know, Eugene and Rapunzel. So it's beautiful to see and hear, like, how their life sort of expands outside of what we know from the film and the short.
Yeah. And then bringing in incredible talent like Eden. Not so much Jeremy, but Eden. Espinosa. Have you heard this girl sing? Come on now. Jeremy's okay. You see, he hired him for jawline. Have you seen that? The thing here, what is that called?
It's called a
Butt chin.
Butt chin, that's what I thought. Something like that, yeah.
You were hiding yours, so.
No, I don't have a butt chin. That's why I have to have a beard. Give me solid butt chin.
You don't want a butt chin.
The beard. And we direct. Continue.
That's the takeaway from the panel. Butt chin.
Mandy, could you talk a little bit about the qualities that you admire in Rapunzel, and if you think there are any similarities between you and her?
I don't know if I can compare myself to her. She kind of sets a high bar. I mean, she has this irrepressible spirit and this natural sense of adventure and curiosity, and I think she is so positive and glass half full, and she's a faithful friend, and I mean...
You are none of those.
I was just gonna say, and you are... I just think everything's horrible.
I find her to be inspiring, but it's hard to compare yourself to her. She really does set the bar.
I'll do it. She is, when she comes in to record,
No,
she is every
Chris.
bit the character. What do you want me to say?
I'm a crabby crab apple.
I don't believe that.
And so is Rapunzel. No, when she comes in, it is so easy for her to roll into the character, and there's so many things what we do is we actually videotape her when we're doing it for the animator, so they can
Which
see.
has got to be horrifying
Oh,
because
stop.
I gesticulate
Stop.
a lot.
Yeah.
I like move my arms around, my face is contorted.
Yeah.
I'm
And we
always
do that.
horrified to think like, who is watching this video?
Oh, I've seen that video. It's horrifying. You wouldn't
And
want
all
it.
of the like, anytime it's like, okay, now you're running and you're like, you're just doing the most insane things to like get the sounds out. It's gotta be really weird.
But I think we take those performances and we put them on the screen. I mean, all the kind of, the awkward little movements or the fun little hand gestures that she does while we record, we put those directly into the show.
Zachary, can you talk a little bit about playing Eugene and how you think he has evolved since moving to Corona in the series?
Can I? Eugene, Flynn. Eugene. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably, it might be the funnest character I've ever gotten to portray, and part of that is because he was so, I think, excellently created by Dan and initially, and again, they also gave me a lot of free reign to kind of have fun with him. But in this whole kind of vein of animation and getting to go and walk into a recording booth and not have to have showered, if that's what you chose, and I choose that a lot.
We know.
Listen, I still throw on some patchouli though, you know what I mean? I'm not just going in there. Anyway, the amount of freedom that you are given to then bring a character to life, and as an actor, if you have a camera rolling on you, it's very strange. I mean, you try to be as present as you can and not in your head and not thinking about all the lights and cameras and crew and everybody. It's very difficult to do sometimes. But when you're in a voiceover booth and you know the only camera that's rolling on you is the one they're going to use for all the animation, but you still feel so very free to be able to bring that to life. And also, we just have such an incredible team. Mary Elizabeth, our voiceover director, that carries us through these sessions with Chris, and again, it's the camaraderie. It's the amount of freedom that I've been offered, and I also know that Eugene is, aside from being someone who loves Rapunzel so much and will literally die for her, and has. It's tough, guys. It's tough. I also know that I'm comic relief and so much of it, and I love it. I love getting to say things that are very earnest and then say things that are completely narcissistic and self-serving, art imitating life, and why'd you do that? That was a joke. But then also, that I get to run around with Maximus and Pascal and all the other yahoos and just be funny. And I just think that life is so gnarly, right? I mean, look, our world right now and our country, and there's so many things we can look at and go, dang, that's like super heavy. And to be able to play a character that just gets to make people laugh on a regular basis, whether they're children or the parents of the children that are watching Tangled. And, I ran into Josh Gad yesterday, and he was talking to, he was with his kids, and he was like, man, we watch the series on the regular, and we love it so much, and it's so fun. And aside from the fact that I love that Olaf is talking about how much he likes the show, I love that adults and children, and this is what Disney has a tradition of doing, is creating entertainment that really is for everyone, because it speaks to the child in all of us. And I think that we were given such an incredible gift with the film, and now Chris and the team have continued that on. And so that's the best part of playing Flynn, is everything.
Ian, we're in a room full of Disney fans. But maybe not as big as you are. Can you talk a little bit about your Disney history and what playing the role of Cassandra means to you?
Yeah, I grew up in Anaheim, and I had family members who worked at the park. My uncle was a kid of the kingdom back in the day. My second cousin still works at the park at entertainment. And so I grew up coming to the park and going backstage, and the only thing I ever wanted to do was work at Disneyland and entertainment. And there we go, Pocahontas. And I ended up doing that, and then I was like, I want to be the voice in the sky, and I was fortunate enough to be asked to record Magical that played every summer for 5 years. And then the last one was like, I just want to voice a character for Disney. And you know, and I had auditioned for Rapunzel. But when I went to see the movie, and then I heard that Mandy Moore got it, and she doesn't know this because we just met today, but like I've been a huge fan of hers. Like, I'm missing you, like I've seen all the movies, huge fan. So when I found out that it was Mandy, I was like, oh my god, that's so perfect. You know, I auditioned for Frozen. We all know what happened with that one.
Did you all just hear that tongue click right now?
So when this came along, and I've done a lot of voiceover work before, but when this came along, it was honestly the first audition experience or voiceover that where I was actually my own voice, where I didn't have to like alter it at all, and so it was like really dream come true, but also full circle moment just because I had auditioned for the movie, and now getting to be like a character in the series is just super cool. So I'm a total Disney nerd, Disney girl through and through. It's an honor and a privilege and nothing but a dream come true for me.
Once I saw Eden's, there was a video of her that we had seen. Shane Prigmore. What?
Are you going to show your screensaver?
Oh yeah. Can you guys get a tight on that? This is my actual screensaver right now. Hold on. Can we get a shot of that? That is actually her Pocahontas. I love. This is my everything. Is Eden as Pocahontas. Pocahontas was the first movie I worked on, so working on Pocahontas and then working with her is some kind of circle. But when I heard Eden's voice and saw like a video that was on YouTube, the character of Cassandra had lived in kind of this huge idea for so long, but when I saw Eden sing and that is her, like the laser just went like exactly who she became solid in my mind when I saw that. It was very.
What did that laser sound like again?
It was a single beam of light. There was smoke came into the room. It was very dramatic.
Laser magic.
It's Disney. They have them installed in all the meeting rooms.
Jeremy, this is your first time voicing an animated character. Obviously.
You guys, he seriously doesn't like that. You should have seen it backstage when Jeremy walked out. He was like, all right.
That's not true. I did threaten to leave, but I did not.
He's clearly working through some stuff. Just keep laughing for him. I love it. It makes him feel good. Love you, Zach.
And obviously Varian has become a fan favorite. So how did you prepare for this role?
Oh man, so many push-ups. I love Varian so much. I was, like a couple years ago, I got an opportunity to audition for it. And I've auditioned for like maybe 3 animated things ever, so I was like, I'm not gonna get this. And it was just a lot of fun, and they kind of let me do whatever with it, and I just kind of went in and had a blast, and they gave it to me, so I was like, okay, great. And it's been an incredible experience. I was talking earlier that the first time I went in and saw, what is it called, the Animatic, which is like after the storyboard, but before it's fully animated. It's like a kind of half animated. We went in and they had animated to my character doing the first episode. And Chris was there. I was like laughing and crying at the same time. Like all my Disney dreams were coming true in front of my eyes. It was the most, because
it was so cute, you guys.
Because I like, you know, they'd give me the script and I just kind of like did my own thing with it. I just like was being super zany and super crazy, and I've been doing a lot of TV lately, and you're like not allowed to do that. So, like Mandy, you know, I was just like kind of like flailing all over the place. It was fun. And then they kept all of it, and I was like, ah, that's me. So yeah, it's great, and he's so adorable, and he's just great. I love it. You know, it's weird because he's only been in one episode so far, and he's in a lot more to come. So the fact that the response has been so wonderful just from one episode, I mean, I couldn't be happier.
When I got home that night from the auditions, I didn't really, sorry guys, I didn't know who Jeremy Jordan was. I'm not a huge Newsies, you know. But luckily my daughters are, and they're in the room, but I went home and I was like, yeah, we auditioned a couple of variants, they know the story and everything, a couple of variants, and yeah, we had a couple guys come in, but the one I really liked was this kid named Jeremy Jordan, and they lost their minds. They were like, Jeff, do you know who that is? Jeremy Jordan. He's from Newsies. You have to put him in there. They immediately brought it up on their phones, and I was like,
Thanks,
I had
guys.
no idea. Then from then on, the laser. I have them in my house too.
Ben, you've worked on a lot of sequels, and you've continued the story of a lot of beloved characters, including you worked on Little Mermaid 2, Cinderella 2, Lion King 1.5. Can you speak a little bit about the process of that and what it was like taking Rapunzel's story and continuing that after the movie?
Yeah, after all those sequels, I vowed never to do it again. and Chris, who's a good buddy of mine, I was at some other studios, and I came back, and my very first day back at Disney, I was working on a show called Wander Over Yonder, and I just hit step 4. And I'm trying to figure out how my phone works and how, like, where's the coffee and stuff. And Chris grabs me into his office, and he's got all these note cards and little rough sketches all over, like almost in this psychotic way all around his office. And I'm like half dazed going, Disney, what's going on? And he pitched me the whole thing. I mean, this guy has this ridiculous passion. And even then, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, this is legit. This is not your just everyday sequel. Like, I think, and you know, to attest to what Mandy and Zach were saying before, it's like, when you hear like where this is all going, and this is all planned out, like we know where it's gonna end. And once you hear the full thing, it gets you, man. Like, in a real way. I was like, oh man, I got, you know, all my time on Wander and I love it and it's so good, but man, I'd love to be a part of that. And sure enough, the guy who helped co-create it with it, Shane Prigmore, just such a legend. Luckily, he got booted out of the job. He got booted out to be like vice president of all Disney creation now. So he got this massive promotion, and they brought me in, luckily enough, to kind of help, hopefully, to try to fill his shoes and get this opportunity. And I mean, this series has been so unlike, you know, the other sequels and stuff. I had a good time and stuff, but this one is just the passion that's involved from everybody, from all the crew that are working on it, and just from your fans and stuff like that. That we read stuff online or see you here and stuff like that. Man, it's moving.
How is it different writing for an established franchise character versus a character in a new series, like a new character in a series?
It's very different. No, it's very different. On the plus side, it's just like these characters were so clearly drawn out, and such great characters that when you kind of have a blueprint to work from when you're sort of extrapolating what kind of adventures they would go on and stuff like that, and how they would talk, what they would do. It's also extremely nerve-wracking because, as you can see, they're beloved characters, and everybody, there's just a lot of pressure to get them right? There's like a lot of don't screw them up type stuff going on. But I would say, it's fun. One of the more challenging characters that actually, or two of the more challenging characters that are just a great part of the show as well is Max and Pascal. Yes. But for me, it's been a really. I've done animated shows before, but I've never had one where I've been able to commute so well with board artists and directors because you can't really write dialogue for a chameleon. So, there's a lot like, he does this kind of thing, and then you see it up on the screen. So it's different. Stand by my initial response.
It's a huge setup from Jace, but it's also a huge testament to our crew who takes that, our board crew. We have one
absolutely.
of the best board crews in all of in animation. Woo! A lot of them are here. So we'll give them a round of applause. Suffice to say, the words that Jason, the crew, the amazing writing crew write become this amazing blueprint to which we all kind of have to get behind and create the world and deliver the performances, but it all kind of starts with Jason and those writers.
Alan, can you talk a little bit about the look of the series and how you came up with it, and maybe share some fun details that fans may not have noticed?
Yeah, first of all, I must say this is probably the greatest project I've been on in so many years. I mean, when Chris pitched me the show with Shane, I just said, I'm in. it was so cool. And I loved the original film, so I know that it wasn't going to be CG like the original, and it was going to be 2D now, so we had to think of a way, how is that going to still be a place that we recognize and feel good about, that it looks like Corona. And we took a good look at some of the drawings that were in Rapunzel's tower, and just the way that Rapunzel drew. And so we used that as the beginning point to get the style going. And we took a look too at some of the earlier classic Disney films, like some of the styling that was in Cinderella, just the elegant shapes and forms that were used to show that world. And they were really in 2D, you can kind of exaggerate and make things really kind of moody. I love 2D a lot, so taking those into consideration, we came up with that style that looks very storybook, and it really harks to Rapunzel.
So the production team has actually put together a Meet the Crew video that gives you an inside look at where the series is brought to life. Can we please roll that video?
Hey D23, welcome to the Tangled, the series production offices.
Here's Ben.
There's Ben. Say hi to Ben. Everybody say hi to Ben.
These guys have put in some ridiculous hours and just ridiculous passion to bring this show to life, and you just couldn't work with better people. So we're really lucky.
Actually, I think a lot of them are in this audience, as Chris mentioned. Would you all stand up so we can acknowledge you?
Light, happy Disney version of like the SNL opening credits where everybody's got like a little vignette, you know? Chris Sonnenberg! Like it was that kind of a... Nobody? All right, fantastic. Drink my water now, thank you.
We also want to share a quick animatic of an upcoming episode titled Pascal's Story that premieres in August. Chris, does this require any setup?
It's a little sneaky peeky, guys, so don't tell anybody. This is all very secretive. So don't shoot it or tell any of your friends that you saw this. It's very secretive. But we're gonna show you guys what's called an animatic. It's it takes our storyboards, everything's very rough music, rough drawings, rough voiceovers and everything. So apologize for all of that. So when you see it, it'll all be finished up. But this is the opening sequence of an episode called Pascal's Story. And it is the very moment, you guys will all get to see the very moment where Pascal eat for the first time.
And when he says rough, this isn't rough. These are amazing, amazing storyboards done by one of our directors, Tom Caulfield. This is going to blow you away, and written by Ricky Roxburgh. Ricky Roxburgh.
I had no idea that Pascal was the Moses in the Tangled series. No idea. I would have treated him so much better up to this point.
Yeah, we don't mess around on this show, guys. Don't get used to anybody. This is the Game of Thrones. So.
Red wedding, red wedding!
Mandy, don't get comfortable.
So next we're going to open up to audience questions, but before we do, if you could all look under your seats, we're going to have a giveaway. If you find a ticket under your seat, we have signed tote bags. And those of you that find a ticket, I think we want you to come toward the stage and one of the staff members will hand your bag to you.
If you find a baby under your seat, make sure it's yours. Because you're not allowed to take home a baby that's not your baby. Did you find a baby under your seat? You didn't? Okay, good. That would be weird. It did. No,
how many are there?
Just kidding! There's none!
Psych!
I believe there are 3. Has anyone found one?
We got one. We got 2.
There's one back there too.
So come on forward.
Come forward if you have one, bring it forward.
Also, for those of you that have questions, I think someone's going to come through with a microphone. Right back here. If you want to line up behind the microphone over here, that'd be great.
Oh my God, that guy's running. Season 1, episode 2. I have a question. What's happening?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you all for coming. I'm sure we're looking at a future group of Disney legends right here today.
That's so very true. Your question, sir?
For Eden and Steven, I think Cassandra is the most wonderful new character for this mythology. So great job on this character, and we've already learned so many amazing...
Zach is so angry that you just said that.
Cassandra?
She just bosses you around so well. She can,
Go ahead. Keep complimenting.
We've learned so many interesting things about her already. Originally, she was an orphan. She was adopted. So how excited are you about this discovery process for continuing to peel back the layers of this character and, maybe learning her connections to other people in the future, like Mother Gotham.
He just walked away.
Security.
He just gobbled that and bounced.
The cool thing is like, I mean, it was a little daunting at first just because I was such a fan of the movie and Rapunzel and Eugene are such, a tight unit, and I was essentially not becoming a wedge between them, but I was like a third entity, and I was really hoping and wanting people to accept her as a character. So thank you for responding so well and accepting her and loving her as much as I do, because I'm obsessed with her. But I am excited, and she's one of the only characters where it's a mystery. You know, we don't know where she's gonna end up because she's not in the
P.S. You have no idea where she comes from.
But I'm more excited for you guys to find out. Because I know a little bit, not everything, but you know, this creative team, the integrity, the creativity, they're just so smart and they have so much buy-in and investment, and you guys better buckle up and get ready. Red wedding!
Hello, first of all, Jeremy, it's amazing to see you here. You're amazing on Supergirl, so I have second of all, my question really is, because I really loved on Tangled Before Ever After, you've got to hear some really cool original songs that were really expertly sung by Mandy Moore, which, you know, just happens. But it's very good. And so my question going on that is, as the series progresses, are we going to hear more original songs like that, or was it only that one, you know, opening video movie where we got to see it?
We will do, so what we have happening is we have what are called tentpoles, tentpole kind of mythology episodes that happen throughout the season. There's more to come, a beginning, kind of a mid-season tentpole, and a end of the season finale tentpole. And in each of those, there are a couple of songs from Alan Menken. And then we spread a couple other songs throughout the season as well. But having Alan Menken and Glenn Slater on board to write these songs has been a huge gift to the show. And yes, you will hear some amazing singing.
Well, that's wonderful news. I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, you guys would love to step
Good morning, folks. This question is for Mandy. First of all, if we don't see you again before that, congrats on the 20th anniversary of So Real.
Sir, I didn't even know that. Thank you.
I don't know whether Weird Al Yankovic has contacted you about parroting one or more of your songs, but with any luck, he will. Which brings me to you're welcome, which brings me to my question. What was it like making 47 meters down, and how did we buy the DVD?
It was crazy. A lot of fun, but yeah.
That was one of the first questions I asked her when I met her today. I was like, tell me everything about 47 meters down.
Yeah, I mean, it was really challenging to spend 7 weeks underwater, but it was funny because we just had done, I think, like the very first episode, and then I went off to go do that, and then we came back and sort of like jumped right into the series. But I remember chatting with you guys when I got back. But yeah, that was an experience. But thank you. I have no idea about any of the details about when it's coming out on DVD, but I'm sure it's some point soonish. Right?
Thank you so much.
I was thinking all things Tangled, so that really just threw me, but thank you.
Rock on, Mandy.
I think he likes you a lot. He does. Yes, he
Thanks,
does.
man. Power to the more.
So I must say, before I ask my question really quickly, that with the additional people that you've added to the voice cast, you guys really hit a total win with some of your voice actors here.
Yeah!
Much better than some of the other people that are told and you just kind of chucked into this show, you know. But anyway, sorry,
Nobody even understands that joke, so it's fine. Keep going.
Considering the big show that really took place after a movie that really started this whole movie and TV show, Aladdin, back in the day, that continued the story, it seems like Tangled is definitely kind of following in that show's footsteps. Considering a lot of the Disney animated shows do multi-part episodes, are we going to start to see multi-part episodes within Tangled series at all coming up?
Yeah, those are, well, ultimately, again, when everybody asks the question, how does the hair come back, that question is so, as I saw it being asked on the internet, the only thing I can say to myself without giving too much away at the time was the entire show is built around how the hair comes back and why it comes back and what it means to this character's lives. So ultimately, you know, we have a lot of standalone episodes, but when you look at the series, it will be a huge mythology that wraps it all together. So yes, you'll see very much a threaded mythology that works the movie into it, that works the short into it. it will at the end of the entire thing will have threaded everything together.
I mean, like some black smoke monsters and four-toed statue things. It's a lot of mythology, guys. It's all gonna make sense, we promise. Nobody? Wow.
Yeah.
That was super funny to anybody who actually watched Lost.
Well, I think
Do that now.
to that end, I think I was a huge Lost fan, and knowing that there were so many questions that were left unanswered, some of the biggest challenges for this team is to not only ask questions, but to definitely answer them in a satisfying way. So for sure, Black Monster.
Hello. Mandy, you deserved an Emmy nomination. If I were into women, it would be you.
But instead, you're into Jeremy Jordan. We got it.
That is the ultimate compliment, by the way. Thank you.
Cassandra is my favorite character as well. I really want to hear Eden and Mandy do a duet on the show personally. So make that happen, please. My question is, are there spin-offs coming for any of the characters, or is that something you've talked about? Please stand by.
Better in the musical.
You didn't say no.
Hi guys. First of all, I just want to say, Jeremy, I'm a huge fan. I love you. I changed my major to acting because of you. Like, I'm so inspired by you. Yeah, of course. So my question is, for those of you who have been on Broadway or anything like musical theater or anything like that, what do you find challenging or different from being a voice actor versus doing live theater or being on television?
I don't have as much experience on like I've done like an episode or something. I don't have as much experience on TV, but as far as like, it's similar to Broadway in that the spontaneity is, you can be big, and it's even more freeing for me because I don't have to worry about what I look like. So like Mandy said, if I look crazy in the booth, because you want to make sure that the sentiment gets across because they don't get to see your face, they just get to hear your voice. So, if there's fighting scenes, like I'm being like, yeah, I look like an idiot. But it's super freeing because you can give, as much as you want without worrying about looking like, I want to say the word, a bad word, but I'm not going to. But sometimes you do feel like a dummy. Yes. But I think for me, it's the similar spontaneity is the same as theater. The present.
Yeah.
So present.
I think it's a lot. It's easier in a lot of ways because you show up, you do it. It's like a couple hours and it's great, and they're really good at directing you. The really hard thing I think is kind of just sort of inserting yourself into like this moment, and you often don't have the other actors to bounce off of. We have a great, a voice coach that kind of does all the other parts with us, but we have to kind of use our imaginations and put ourselves into that world, and that's kind of the fun, but also really fun and challenging part at the same time. And then you see, months later the result, and it's just incredible.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Brookie. Zach, I'm a huge fan of one.
What is your name and where are you from? Are there more of you there? I can open your heart. I promise Newsies. I will sing some Newsies by the way.
I don't even know how to respond.
Movie Newsies though, not that stagey stuff.
In the first episode,
episode where Lady Kane comes out, Eugene knows her.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, ooh, past? Ooh, is she coming back?
So you were watching and doing a lot of this.
I'm a very physical person.
And he's officially lost his mind.
Yeah. That was years ago. No, Lady Payne. So, well, look, I mean, Flynn, Eugene, Flugene. He's had a checkered past. He stole from a lot of people. Always with a heart of gold. He stole from bad people and good people. The point is, so we had, I mean, he probably dated some chicks back in the day that were bad apples. And then he found a really good apple. Like a Fuji. Or like a pink lady. Like a pink lady. And yeah, so there's some past. I don't know how deep that past. You know, we could have like been on a date. You know, we could have been like, hey, what are you about? And like after 10 minutes, it's like, let's wrap this up. Or they could have dated. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know what their past is. And I don't like to ask questions that I don't like the answers to. So that's why I never asked Chris exactly. But I thought it was really fun that Laura Benanti got to play that role. You know, because locking her up is just fun. That's fun to thwart her plans. And thank you that you care about me.
We should not go without saying that along with Laura Benanti, there's a very, I don't know if you guys are noticing it, but there's a very strong thread of Broadway. You and Laura did a little show together. And James Monroe,
Is there any? I don't need to sing on this show. It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
Is there any James Monroe Ivanhoe fans? He's watching from home, so everybody say hi to him.
James.
We love you, James.
Who's next?
Hi. I just want to say I'm really sorry. I'm really nervous, and I lost my voice because of the live action panel yesterday.
You don't have to be nervous.
Yeah, but I just want to say that I love you guys, and to Mandy Moore and Zachary, Levi, huge fans. My fiance and I are actually getting married next year, and our wedding is going to be Tangled themed.
Wait, we took a turn for the worse and quickly a turn for the better.
She was like crying. I was like, oh no, this is...
I just wanted to know if you guys could, I think my friends are recording this in the back, if you guys could wish us congratulations so we can add it to our wedding video.
What are your names? What is your name, hon?
It's Kurt.
Your name is Kurt?
Kurt? Kurt, and what's your husband to be?
Nigel, he's in the back. He really loves Jeremy Jordan. Because I got him to watch Chuck.
That's cool.
I have a shirt that says, well, I want to get a shirt that says Nerd HQ and the Bortowski.
Kurt, I gotta say, this has been a very emotional morning. You're taking me down a journey of ups and downs right now. But I do want to wish you and your fiance the best of wishes.
Kurt and Nigel,
yes.
yes.
Kurt and Nigel?
Yes.
So on the count of three, we're going to say...
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Kurt and Nigel. We go with that. Everybody in here, I would like this to happen, okay?
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations, Kurt and Nigel!
Shut up, Jerry.
Good morning. Thank you so much for coming here today. I know it means a lot to everyone here.
Thank you.
My question is, do you guys have a favorite character aside from the one that you voice?
I mean, I love you guys, but I've always just had a soft spot for Max and Pascal. They just, you know, they're the OG crew. Pascal's my bestie. My non-human bestie. What about you? Mr. Levi?
You're gonna say yourself, aren't you?
It would be very un-Flynn of me to not say I don't know. I actually really quite like Cassandra. Not as Flynn, but as Zach. I think she's a very cool character, and you know, I like that we get to have, like Flynn and Rapunzel get to have their lovey, fun kind of world that they live in, but I get to just fight with this one.
That's my favorite too.
The time. And you know, and that kind of like eased up my relationship with Maximus, which I appreciate. Because we're like, you know, we're cool. We're coolish. We're tepid. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, I think we just have so many fun characters in the show. You know, that's one of the things about going into a series is that with a film, it's pretty much locked. Those are the characters you do. But now we have so many episodes, and so many cool guest stars, and like Chris was talking about, and I just think everybody that they're getting is so fantastic and brings these characters to life. So, yeah, so all that to say, yeah, Flynn is probably my favorite character.
We're going down the line.
We're going down the line.
Okay, sorry. I actually have like little favorite things about everybody, just because like I think ultimately Rapunzel is so. I wish I could be more like her as a person, because just her optimism, her like just enthusiasm for everything, just like this innocence, this wide-eyed, just like, isn't it great? And there's so many times when if Mandy has already like recorded her part and I'm working off of her, it just makes me smile and laugh sometimes. I just can't believe that person exists or that character exists. And so I just think like she's the center, the heart of like the whole thing. So sorry, Flynn. Eugene, as Rapunzel would say, Eugene. Next!
Jeremy.
Oh yeah, I love all these guys, but if I was gonna go with somebody else, I would say I love Shorty. I'll be in a recording session and I'll be in a scene and his line is like next, and I'll just die for like 2 minutes.
We have to stop recording while he laughs. We actually lose while he's laughing. Paul F. Tompkins is the voice of Shorty.
Unfortunately, I think we have time for only one more question from the audience. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this question is for Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. My name's Chloe. Hi, Chloe. And I'm such a big Newsies fan. It's my favorite musical ever. You were amazing in it. I wish I could have seen the show live, but I was wondering, your character does a lot of singing in Newsies. Will Varian be doing any singing in the show?
Yes. Yes, Varian will be singing in the show. Eventually, at one point, somewhere, maybe sooner
It
than
would be a
later.
waste if you didn't.
Thank you.
You got it, girl.
I wonder what we're gonna see next. Speaking of songs being sung by Jeremy.
I think we had a question about it before, but do you think anybody out there wants to hear a brand new Alan Menken song? Yeah! Ever before been heard by anybody?
We're gonna show you a little clip here, guys. This is first time seen by anybody, heard. I'm gonna set it up for you. This is what is going to be our mid-season. I'm gonna show you a little clip here. It's our mid-season. You're still many episodes off from seeing this episode, but we wanted to give you guys a sneak peek at it. There is a big thing that happens in Corona. There's a big storm that comes to town, and Jeremy, Varian needs to decide, needs to go and get Rapunzel's help for something. Can't tell you what, but he lives way out on the far end of the kingdom, and Rapunzel is in the kingdom, and we have this amazing moment where Varian must travel to seek the help of her
of one of her friends over something that has happened at his house. So,
and we put together kind of almost like a music video to this because we didn't want to give too much away. So you're going to see a lot of shots from upcoming episodes and animation that's been finished by our amazing animation studio Mercury, and some of the animation that you've seen from previous episodes. So it's an amazing cut together thing that our editor Kevin Lecaro put together for you.
So enjoy the clip.
And I would like to introduce you to our panelists today. First, we have Chris Sonnenberg, who is the executive producer of Tangled, the series. Chris? Next, we have Ben Balistreri, who is the co-executive producer. We have Jace Ricky, who is the head writer and co-producer. We have Ellen Goldner, who is the art director. Jeremy Jordan, the voice of Mary. Espinosa, the voice of Pascal. Zachary, Levi, the voice of
As you were.
and Mandy Moore, the voice of Before we start the panel, I'd like to acknowledge this is the first time we've had Jeremy, Eden,
This guy so much. That's it, all right, bye.
Well, I have a couple announcements to make before we end. From 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock tonight, there will be special Tangled Snapchat geo filters available from the D23 Expo. Also, at 3 o'clock today, Mandy and Zachary will be the grand marshals of the D23 parade. On the expo floor, so please don't miss that. And I really want to say thank you to everyone today. This has been so much fun, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.